while my name that they said was Amit Kumar, most my friends would not know me by that name. Because, like TEDxIIMAhmedabad, we also used to have our naming ceremonies, and in one of those naming ceremonies, my name came out to be Google, which I can fortunately talk about. Uh, and the reason was that my instinctive reaction to anything that I don't know is Google. And when I started thinking about preparing for this presentation, it looked like a walk down the memory lane, and I said, it's another assignment that has come my way. So I sympathize with you. And the first thing that I did, said, okay, fine, I have to follow up with a guy who's going to talk about ChatGPT. So let me build my profile using ChatGPT. And I went to ChatGPT and said, why don't you build my profile? And ChatGPT came up with an answer that my parents would have loved to read about: a 40 under 40 leader, entrepreneur of the year, top 50 CEO, worked at large companies, a visionary, a rising star, and oh my God, I was just too happy to read it 2-3 times. And if my parents had read it, they would have said, Pappu pass ho gaya. Right? But in this whole thing, there is a introspective me also. And that introspective me said, there is a feeling of instant success and instant in it. And why is it that we all want instant to things that we do, like generative AI? And unlike the Pratham Foundation, where there is a lot of hard work that goes in building things for ages. And I again went back to my IIT Bombay days, and those days are typically the most documented ones that you have. And I read through this blog, and what caught my attention was that at IIT Bombay, I really wanted to be a CEO as soon as possible, as soon as I got out of the campus. And I know that there are folks on the other side of the podium who would have the same sort of dream in their minds. CEO, investment banker, unicorn founder, change maker. How soon can I do it? And I was also in that zone, and I said, okay, there is something here which is about instant input and instant gratification. That's the human nature that we are all sort of living with. And I read a bit, and I used to read about evolutionary psychology, trying to understand what goes in our mind, which always pushes us to do things instantly. And I read this book a few years back by a gentleman named Daniel Kahneman, a Nobel laureate, and he talks about evolution, and we've been on this earth for almost 2 million years ago. And agriculture was invented 10,000 years ago. For almost 2 million years, most of the decisions that we've made have been instant. Instant input, instant output. A lion is in front of you, run as fast as you can. Maybe faster than your friend, because the lion catches your friend. Right? There is a juicy yellow mango tree in front of you. Eat as many as you can, because you can't store them. Right? And that has been what Mr. Daniel Kahneman calls system 1. Our mind has experienced and has been trained for instant input and instant output for 2 million minus 10,000 years, when agriculture was discovered. So for the last 10,000 years only, that we've felt, understood, and worked upon what is delayed gratification, or sometimes unpredictable gratification. And the view or the thesis that I am proposing here is that when we are in the zone of delayed gratification and time taken to do things, that is when transformative change happens. That is when we really turn the world and do new things and build new things. And I started looking behind in the history, and some of the big transformers of the history. Nelson Mandela. This guy got in jail in 1962 fighting against a regime which was one of the most repressive, oppressive regimes in the world. They classified the whole country into 4 buckets: white, Indians, coloreds, black Africans. To win against that regime, it took him 27 years. Mahatma Gandhi, the father of our nation, fought against the British, an empire in which sun never set, for 32 long years. He came in India in 1915, from 1915 to 1947. Transformation happens when we have delayed unpredictable gratification. Thought about my story as well, and my story doesn't start at IIT Bombay. My story starts in 1970s when my family was in a real trouble. We had no money. My late grandma would see clothes of our neighbors to feed my dad and his 4 sisters. From there to my dad making me capable to get into IIT, and then me having a fantastic professional journey, has been a transformation for my family. But it took 50 long years from that to here. And that is what I am trying to talk about here, which is not the instant change of ChatGPT or AI. And how do you achieve or succeed in making this transformative change happen, which harnesses almost the infinite potential that we humans have? And my mantra has 2 or 3 parts to it. The first thing is that this transformative change is like tapasya. And the origin of word tapasya is in tapa, heat. Transformative change is unpredictable. You don't know when you will have it. Transformative change takes you through mental and physical agony, and you have to survive through it in order to be successful. Now, how do you actually live through that time? And the lesson lies in learning through the Pandavas in Mahabharata. Pandavas were cornered. They were fighting against the whole mighty Kauravas. And they had this 13 years long period to survive and win the war. What are the 2 things that kept them together? One, they were not alone in it. They had a gang of people, a group of friends supporting them. Right? The 6 of them together, and then the others sort of sympathizers. Most startups which have a co-founder along with a founder succeed, and there is a reason behind it. The second one, Pandavas or Arjuna had the best mentor in the world. In this group, there is an Arjuna, Karna, and Bhishma. Karna and Bhishma were more powerful than Arjuna. Still, Arjuna won the war for Yudhishthir because he had the best mentor telling him what to do, guiding him through difficult and easy times. When Arjuna did not want to fight is when Bhagwan Krishna gave us Gita, the life science to live by. And that is the key to traveling through these difficult times and bring transformative change. Coming back to ChatGPT and the introduction that it made for me, and a lot of things in this introduction are factually incorrect. I have never worked at Hindustan Unilever. In fact, I did not make it to the interview stage in IIT Bombay. Right? I have not been awarded the Entrepreneur of the Year award. I'm looking forward to it, or the top 50 CEO as well. Right? I think, but that doesn't mean that ChatGPT is not going to change our world. It will. It is the internet moment in our history of humanity. But do you know that internet was first in some form or shape invented in 1969? It has been 50 long years journey for internet to transform and get to ChatGPT. I think that long a journey is still ahead of ChatGPT. The journey may be faster, maybe a few years or a couple of decades, but it is definitely not an instant shift in what we see or what we do. Coming to conclusion and what I would want to leave this accomplished smart gang with. When you think about the future of your life and your journey, do not just think about it in days, months, and weeks. Also put a perspective of years and decades. That's how life transformations happen. That's how nations transformation happens. That's how the world's transformation happens. Thank you.